Okay, hold on. When it decides to load. I keep forgetting that like I can't just click thing. It's not like other games where I can just click it. It takes a little bit. I don't know what it is with the boot up, but like it definitely takes a lot of power to like just boot up for some reason. I don't know what's causing that, but that is a thing that's occurring. I'm not doing this video to do another run. I'm just clearing these out so they don't bug me because I hate seeing exclamation points. Okay, so we're gonna not move around too much. I'm gonna take this off the relic for you real quick. We're just gonna, yeah, see, that's stupid. Okay, so we're gonna just take this off real fast, just so I'm not running around with fucking swirly things when I'm running around talking real quick. Alright, so this is gonna go over the minuscule problems and how to resolve them. The constellation tree pretty much was resolved. Like, yeah, you gotta progress through both what's it called? Abyss and uh Oblivion. I don't know if I can, because like this is complete. Like if I go back, does it reset? Because I completed Oblivion already. So if I go back to Oblivion, let's see what happens. Because I didn't really experiment with this earlier. Okay, so all the acts are open, so I'm probably not going to get a shrine. I have my compilation points. So it seems like, because supposedly they're supposed to be. So it seems like whatever I got. I mean, I'm still missing. Let's go back to Oblivion real quick. I am still missing the 2 to 3 shrines I skipped over because I didn't want to deal with all that nonsense. So that's like what, 2 to 3-ish constellation points I'm missing. So let me go see what I could possibly do with 2 to 3 more points. I'm just gonna just theory craft it. Okay, so I have this, I have this. I'm missing this, right? So that's 1 point, and then I have 2 more points left. So what would I put that in based on my build that I have? Definitely not in this. Definitely not in these two, because these are useless. As you saw, my HP barely moved. This move speed and cooldown speed. I mean, I could just put it in just overall tankiness, even though I don't need it. There's nothing really, I guess I should go the gold. Yeah, reroll cost, and then, like, gold gain. And that'd be it, like, be like utility type of stuff. And that's about it, really. Everything else is just, like, tankiness. And, like, another chance to get an orb. Yeah. There's not too much else to do for the build that we have available right now. See, this is a pro. It's like if they ever enable this, this is a trap. This will get you one shot every single time, equal to 1% of your current conviction. Yeah, no, I don't. If that ever comes out, that's not gonna be a good idea because people are like, "Oh, it gives me like evasion and stuff," and the one time you don't evade, you're gonna get one shot because it doesn't protect you. You need it to protect you. Okay, so we'll go over some general issues with the game. One of them, like I said, the constellation thing was basically solved by giving a respec, giving you a way in the campaign itself to earn more constellation points by going to between the difficulties. Sorry. Um, but I feel like the main issue is the scaling based off conviction. Conviction on, I don't know if actually it works on the marksman. Every time I tested the conviction little 4 slot thing for the marksman thing where it consumes it and then gives extra damage like something the spell ones does. It didn't seem like it added any damage, but I could have been mistaken. But the difference between what this does with and without conviction is ridiculous. I do like what is it like almost 10 times, if not more, the damage from just the conviction alone. So like without it, scaling is kind of set in stone, and I feel like the game's bounced too much around this mechanic, and that's why bosses have stupid fuck tons of HP. Because there's like builds like if you go like the bell build, And this one right here, like let's max this one out real quick. Just for shits and giggles to show you something real quick. So boom, boom. Like look how much instant conviction I have. And then boom. And if I'm able to like, hold on. Yeah, I don't have the sustain for it. But if you get enough mana regen and you get something that costs a shit ton of mana and you just keep spamming it, you'll have it to where this cooldown will basically become nothing. And then once you gain that cooldown to basically nothing, you can just keep casting it forever and you can keep stacking conviction over and over and over and over and over again. And then once you're able to do that, you basically have infinite damage scaling. So because of that, it just breaks the game. Like the game feels like it's too balanced around that, and like how you saw how like the thing with Act 3 was. Act 1, Act 2 felt smooth. You know, my normal damage was doing pretty much fine. The burst damage just made it even faster. And then when I get in Act 3, um, all of a sudden I'm like struggling to kill the most mundane mobs because of how they balance between Act 2 and 3 and stuff like that. And I'm not sure they balance it around like the actual relics. I don't think like the relics would give me so much of an exponential damage increase. It'll probably go from like 2 million crits to like 4 million crits or something like that. But like baseline, I'll probably if anything double my damage. Hold on, let me see what's like not increasing my actual crit or plague damage that I have. Well, this one and this one. So these two do matter. So that's another like 100%. This one also isn't, but I do have it for the exploding damage. So that's like another 30-40%. So yeah, it does matter to a degree. Like it's another like 100% damage-ish, 150, almost 200% damage that I'm missing. So that's like, and I'm doing like 1 to 2 mil crits normally. So that's anywhere between like 4 to 6 million crits by default, which would help a good amount. But it's not the same as just popping a couple potions and then just doing a buttload of damage instantly. Like, if I pop all my potions right now, I mean I could, but do I want to? Okay, so let's do this. I already get like 1 million, 1.7 million freaking conviction. And like that level of burst is insane. Especially when you're only supposed to have like this much HP, having a 1.7 million fucking shield is ridiculous. Just in the survival aspect alone. Like, if it had nothing to do with damage, just that alone is already ridiculous. And on top of that, it increases your damage. So I feel like what this system needs is to either not scale ridiculously hard with damage or have a cap on how much damage it actually increases. Because the problem is stuff like double knives, right? We all know the double knives build. The problem with is double knives is hard capped by this. This is the only thing that really increases the damage exponentially, besides the shadow dash thing giving you double damage on top of that. So you only have double damage plus that being 500 damage. And that's roughly like 10 times the damage, but the thing barely does damage as it is, and it doesn't really have many supporting things that matter with it. Like quills, you get the pierce and it explodes as it stacks and stuff. So you get like more and more stuff. Then you get more and more projectiles, so you're stacking your DPS even more. The only thing you can do with double knives is just spin slightly faster, and that's literally it. You just spin a little bit faster. That's it. And because of the damage cap and stuff like that, and you can't burst, like you can't burst increase it. So whatever your damage is like basically capped at, you're stuck at that damage. And because of that, like say like if I were to go into this build with a double knives build and I'm dealing with an 80 billion HP boss and I'm only critting for like we'll say roughly around the same amount of damage I'm doing with plague quills, but only with like the spinning thing, and maybe we'll put it about like half because like the quills definitely do more damage than double knives per hit. So like we'll say like I'm doing like a million, maybe almost 2 million crits a tick. So I'm sitting there doing only that, and I can't burst my damage. There's no way to burst with double knives. So because there's no way to burst with it, you're basically don't have the DPS. You're stuck with like a 10-hour plus boss fight basically. Whereas I can just pop a couple potions, time my cooldown just right, and I can blow the ever-living shit out of it, especially if I'm able to get this cooldown to, like, basically nothing. Like, hold on. Let's try something stupid real quick. Because, like, this brings you to 60%, and the cooldown goes from 15 seconds to 55 seconds. So we'll do, like, a lower cooldown one, right? So it's 260, so it's basically double that. It feels like it's staying around the same. Hold on, no, I don't want to go into it real quick. But it's just because I don't have like the mana sustain to like basically showcase it being like completely ridiculous. Because that's like 50,000. That's like 35,000-ish, like 15,000. So it's like 40,000 over like 15,000 or something like that. But even then, it's like 15k, yeah. That's what I thought. Because like it's like 100%-ish of your max. Oh, wait. I didn't know it was based on maximum mana. I thought it was HP. So you need to stack mana to make it do more. Huh. Interesting. And I think I got rid of one of my mana gears, didn't I? I got rid of it for like conviction gain instead of like mana. But it's still like basically double my mana. So I'd want everything that stacks mana to have mana on it. There was a few things that would have mana that didn't stack mana on. So it'd be that, and then there. I didn't know it was based off mana. I stupidly thought it was based on life. I'm so dumb. That's what I get for not reading thoroughly, anyways. But yeah, so if you can get that like basically a 0 second cooldown, you can just keep spamming it over and over again, and then you just have infinite conviction. So I have infinite scaling, infinite burst, whereas double knives has nothing. There's no way to get double knives to the same level, even with like the reflexes stuff and all that other crap. There's no possible way to get to the same fucking level as the quills, especially since rosary is uh attack. It's like everything but a melee skill, and since it's not melee skill, it doesn't scale off syringes, so you can't scale it. Sorry, syringes. So you can't scale it the same way you can scale double knives. So the scaling on this is always locked by spells, and since you're not specking into spell damage, you can't do much with the rosary thing. So you can't use that for extra damage per se, because it doesn't really add in all that much to make it worthwhile. I mean, you still do anyways, but yeah. So then you have like the lasso procs that group things up and all other stuff. But yeah, double knives has nowhere near the scaling potential. And then for marksman, marksman's probably like neck to neck, if not better, solely because it has its own conviction scaling as well, with the conviction on kill thing that I don't have right now. So you have well that, and plus the fact that it consumes a little bit of conviction to add that conviction on the marksman damage. So there's that basically. I mean, I could redo the whole run through. Uh, I could do like a start to finish, like only doing like marksman without the constellation though. That'd be a bit iffy. But I've never really done like I've never fully hard stuck into like marksman builds. I've always like test them out a little bit, then I get sick of them and I go back to doing bell or quills. With my favorite of the two being quills. And bell is also really good, but I just don't know. I don't like having to go to things and then hold it down there, and then go to things and then hold it down there. Let me see think of some other issues that are currently in the game besides like the scaling, because the Act 3 scaling is way too overtuned. It needs to be toned down, like nerfed by at least half on everything. The HP scalings are way too damn high. There's no reason for it to like if the game's not supposed to be grindy per se, and you can kind of carry from one act to the next. Like that's how it's supposed to be designed. If that's their design goals, you can go. If you have a good build, you can go from one act to the next without having to regrind an act over and over again for like specific either relics or specific tiers of relics, and you can just kind of like basically just slap some shit together. For the most part, you can have some key components and then go and do your thing. Then this game currently is far, far from that. This game is nowhere near close to that design goal. If that is the design goal, game's nowhere near fucking close. And it's because of conviction. Conviction basically breaks everything. Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, they can probably just put a hard cap on how much damage scaling there is. Like it can only like basically double your damage or something like that. And then that way they can balance the whole game around that kind of tuning and then tweak up and down on melee skills, this skill, that skill, so on and so forth. So that way there isn't all this BS going on that's keeping the game from being playable for most builds. Especially if you want to progress without grinding, you know, indefinitely. Like I feel like their short-term solutions were okay, but like that's all they are, short-term solutions. They're not going to solve the main problem of the game. And the main problem of the game is it's not the RNG elements. The RNG elements matter, yes, but they don't matter as much as the overall balancing of the game. And putting like these weaker difficulties, making it so that you can basically be a Saiyan every time you die, you come back stronger type of nonsense, that doesn't help in the grand scheme of things because you're still stuck with a broken game that isn't achieving what it's designed to achieve by the basic fundamentals of the game. So, um, so I feel like I know the difficulty is not the problem. I've dealt with the difficulty just fine. The game is not difficult. The thing is, the scaling is fucked, especially in Act Three. And if it's designed for you to at least die once, go back in and get like be strong enough to clear it the second time, then the game kind of mostly succeeds at that. It doesn't really do so well in Hell because like the Hell difficulties, because you start from fresh every single time. That can get a little rough. Like you can have some 3 or 4 runs depending on the difficulty and whatnot, but and how lucky you get. But by default, if like the main design actually is to just die at least once, go. I mean, besides what the campaign forces you to scale and whatnot. But like after the campaign's done and you're just doing the acts, you're supposed to at least die just once, come back in just a little bit stronger based off of what you gained while clearing the floors, and then that should be enough to push you over the edge to basically clear out the rest of it. If that's how it's designed, like I said, that's fine. Because the game mostly functions like that, as if you guys have seen me play. I can pretty much do most progression runs in like 1 or 2 runs, sometimes 3, depending on how bad the scaling is. Because every time I get to Act 3, man, it's just fucking horror. Like Act 2 can get pretty bad towards the end, but like you can push through it and it's not as egregious. And then you get to Act 3, after you get done with like floor 12, the mobs will go like triple, quadruple, quintuple in fucking health. The fucking bosses get like 10 times more HP for the final boss for some fucking reason. Like it makes no fucking sense. I just don't know. Shit's weird. But like I think that's the only main broken thing is conviction in the game. Like I think that needs to be resolved, and then you can kind of use it for like a shield on the side, and just take the damage scaling off of it entirely. Just make it so it doesn't convert to damage, like or add on to damage. I mean, for spells, for marksman skills, just take that concept fucking entirely. And make it focused on just a survivability tool. I feel like just that alone is good enough. Like it doesn't need to do more than that. Let's see here. Then like another issue with the game is putting things on your bar because you want to like have them, but then they fucking, as I mentioned before, they waste your upgrade slots. I feel like that's a detrimental factor to the game, and there should be something that are utility only and you have no way to upgrade them. Like the pets should be like a utility only thing. They're just there to be bodies and like do a little bit extra damage. And they shouldn't be able to like this is like 230 base damage. How is this supposed to keep up with this? In what fucking universe does this keep up with this? You can only have a maximum of two rifle dudes, right? So that's like what, 460? I basically can do that. I can move around. I don't have to worry about them being alive for X period of time. Like, cause they fall away after a while, right? Or they're just stationary. Yeah, they go away after a while. So like I can easily out DPS that without even trying. And then you have this worthless piece of doo doo that there's no point in giving it upgrades. I feel like passage can be good for damage, but it's just like the cooldown scaling. Like look up the cooldown scaling between this and Shadow Dash. It's 2 seconds more on cooldown, does a little bit less damage. Oh, this does give cooldown speed per rank, which is kind of nice, while this doesn't. But even still, like, it doesn't do enough. I feel like the cooldowns going higher and higher like that just hurts some skills. Like with this, it doesn't really matter because like this you're supposed to use it for burst anyway, so the cooldown can be like 4 minutes for all I fucking care. You only use it mainly for like the passive parts and then the burst part when you need it. And that's about it. But I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else is problematic. The relics I think are kind of fine. I feel like there's too many garbage relics that just really don't do anything, and you don't really want them. Like this, the whole thing you cast from your pets instead, and it has like a new base damage of like 13. It's just like that's just too much screen clutter for such little damage. But yeah. Oh, and the negative actors. I mean the elite affixes. They need to be gutted in the Defense Department. There should only be. Hmm, there should only be like one that like makes them take a little bit of a reduced damage, like maybe 20% reduced damage, or just leave the resistances. Like the resistances do enough of like damage reduction on their own to make the fight annoying. That's all you need. Just that. Anything more than that is fucking overkill. When you have the resistance of what the damage type you're using, plus I know you can put this garbage in your build, but I don't care for using judgment. Like I shouldn't need to use judgment. Judgment's like should be an optional thing. It shouldn't be like a mandatory thing. Oh man, if you don't have this in your build and you go against a resistance guy, like you're gonna take 10 years to kill him. That should not be the case. But I feel like just the resistance effects are good enough on their own. Like, I feel like the only thing that the elite should get is more offensive affixes, so that way there's more for you to look out for. Like when you have like the evokers spawning shit under you, you have the plague pools, the mortars, all that shit. Like it gives you more ways to interact with the environment as well as the mob in question without it just being, oh, mob just takes no damage, heals for 100 million a fucking half a second. So if you stop DPSing it for even like a split millisecond, it heals up 3/4 of its fucking HP because you fucking left it alone and didn't tap it one time because you decided to focus on another mob or whatever. Like that shit needs to go. Like that shit is just nothing but a pain in the ass, and it's just fake gameplay. There's no gameplay involvement with that. There's just that thing that doesn't die, and you have to just wail on it for 3 hours. No one wants to do that. That's not gameplay. Oh, I know there were some other aspects I thought I could probably fix. Nah, it's because like I said, the main issue is just the conviction scaling, and the game seems like it's balanced around that. I think that's what the issue is. Oh, skills. I feel like having the skills tied to axe early on makes a lot of things feel too empty. I feel what you could do is just take away the act restrictions, make it so they all cost like X amount of troll shards, like 100 each, like how it normally does. and just let them as they complete like the first main thing to open up all the skills, have it there, and then that way you can add in new skills when you want to or need to, like whatever you decide to do. And then you don't have to worry about, oh, do I tie it to this act? Or do I tie it to that act? Like, what act do I tie this new skill to based on its power level and etc. Whereas, or if you just put it in like its own little thing and they can access it right away, they'd be like, well, why can't I get this skill until Act 2 when I can just get the new skill that you guys put in the game? I feel like it puts a lot of skill limitations for future edition skills doing it this way. You could just have like the little bit of wheels or whatever, and then like you can move like this wheel up a little bit, and then you can have like another wheel down here. Like maybe like you can move the max things, like you can move this one right here, bring this one down right quick, like right under it, and then you can go like boom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, and that way you can add in more wheels of skills that you can like put in that UI and go from there. I mean, it might get a little problematic around here, especially if they're like you're putting them down here and then you move over here, and the next thing you know, it's affecting with this UI. But I feel like with that setup, it'll work out well overall and give you options to throw in some new skills without dramatically changing the UI when that occurs. Cause I know like they're not trying to add new stuff early, right away. And then like I feel like yeah, like there's way too many garbage fucking uh too many garbage relics that just don't do anything or don't do enough. It's one or the other. They don't do anything or they don't do enough. Because there'll be some builds where you need like 20 fucking relics to get them off the ground. And then there's like other builds where it's like you just put this on, put that on, and you're good to go. And if you get this thing, it's a nice bonus because it gives you infinite damage, and that's it. That's literally what my build is. It's like the only two relics I absolutely need is this one and this one. And then this one if I can get it. And then this one is just an exponential bonus on top of this one. This one's the main one, and this one just skyrockets it into oblivion. And then once you get those four, I'm done. Every other build will need like this little bit, that little bit, like the bell build. The bell you need the pet well used to need its pet summons until they nerfed it into oblivion. Now it puts a 30-second cooldown on the bell itself. So you can't use the bell as a DPS while spawning pets. So you can't do the pet thing because like before it was like the bell you would need that summoning thing, you would need the max mana scaling, um, would then need the life conversion and then make it scale off max HP, and then the conviction thing, the pet thing where like pet scales gives you more damage based on pets, and then you would need the flat extra mana costs and more damage and so on and so forth. Like you would need like so many things, and then you still only barely keep up with quills just off of that many relics. Until you get like the massive conviction scaling. Like once you get to, like the infinite conviction like game type of thing or constant like conviction bursts, it's just that's when the game just becomes like trivial or like how it should be. Because like when I was fighting the boss with the constant conviction, it felt kind of normal, still a little sluggish when I was just doing the closed body and then I had no potions and then just doing it that way. But if I didn't have that option, that would have taken me forever to kill that boss. And why? All because of one fucking mechanic. It's not because of like me playing poorly, me building poorly, or any of that nonsense. It's literally because of this one mechanic that scales ridiculously. It makes or breaks the game. And because this one thing makes or breaks the game by itself, sorry, I didn't mean to pull that back out. Uh, there's just like I said, it's hard to balance everything else around it. I know there's some other shit I was thinking about earlier. I just fucking blanked on it. Because the vendor is pretty much good. I like the vendor as it is. Uh, the redraw and whatnot. I mean, it's only after the campaign, but I feel like the vendor's alright because you can go to it like in between acts or like after it runs and stuff, and be like, "Oh, hey, this is like pretty cheap. This is an upgrade. I can buy that real quick." And then you keep an eye out for relics, and then You go in and look for relics as you go. I don't know. And I feel like the bell's perfect. Like with the way the bell's set up, they took out the annoying part of like the ascension bell. Like the ascension bell, like you always have to put in levels and go from there. Whereas the oblivion bell is just it's all there in one skill, and then you can actually focus on building how you want to build, which is nice. It gives you more points, more options. This can go up to I think it was 122 on the bell, so I can get 33 more points? Yeah, 33. No, because like 30 is, yeah, 119. Yeah, 33 points. So if I were to like fully flush this out, let's see what I would need. I would need more life because I would need more mana. So I would go into more of the mana trees that which is what I should have done, but I didn't. This one gives another 100, so this would give like another 200 mana. Um, And then I would go into this one for more mana, that one for more mana, just stack as much mana as humanly possible. So that's 4, 2, 2, 2. So 6, 8, 10. So that's 10 points out of 30. So that's 23 left. And then I could probably just go on the gold just to have that on the side for when I'm grinding. Soul Stone game doesn't really do too much. Trying to think what else would be like massive DPS increases because like attack speed and all that shit don't do anything for me. Crit chance is kind of like a side grade. And it's not too much else for me to invest in besides just overall tankiness. I mean, life would be work with the potion, so I'd probably just go on the life next and just max that all out. Not the life region, but like the life amounts. And then that will put me like 3, 3, 3, 5, so that's 8. That That's 10. So that's 10 more there. And then 2, 5, so it's 15, 18. And then I still have a lot more to spare, so I'd probably just put in the soul stones and then just call it a fucking day. Like, there's not much else to do to increase my damage by the tree, by the bell tree too much. It's just mainly mana. That's about it. Alright. I just want to look at that real quick because they did say that the max level is supposed to be 122. Um, Yeah, I don't know. That's just mainly conviction, affixes for defenses being way too overtuned and stupid and annoying to deal with. Act 3 being way too overtuned and it needs to be gutted by at least 50% across the board for HP levels. Um, what else is there? That alone would make it so you don't have to grind. Like, the most of the grind is just dealing with the HP scalings. The HP scalings get to the point where you just can't keep up with it when you're actually progressing. And it's not because it's hard. It's just that's just how it works. You just keep the basic mechanics and how the game is, and just reduce the scaling on HP, and then pretty much the game would be fine after that. Trying to think what else. Because like the end game replayability is pretty much non-existent unless you're trying new builds. And that's what basically Ascension was like, oh hey, let me see how this build feels from start to finish on Ascension Hells and whatnot. And then depending on the difficulty levels and all this other stuff. Like there was like experimentation with that, but like once you do all that, it's like well, I don't really want to play it much anymore. Which is fine. There's like a game shouldn't have to be replayed infinitely and you should never like not be bored with it. But this game is a good overall. I do like how the game feels, like how it plays. I love a lot of the aspects about it. I just feel like there's little things that just make the game a little bit too broken and not enjoyable for most players to play, and that's basically why. Because like the vultures are annoying, but they're not like, oh man, this needs to be changed type of thing. It's just stupid. and every game has those stupid kind of monsters. Uh, I was annoyed with Bears of Ruin, but since Conviction's so broken, I'm not as annoyed with them anymore. Yeah, no, I'm blanking. I can't figure out the other issues. Oh, and then like figure out whatever the fuck the frame rate thing is in Act 3. It's always Act 3. You guys saw it perfectly fine. Act 2, Act 1, perfectly fine. My build, all the projectiles, everything I was doing was perfectly fine. I go into Act 3, for some reason my computer just takes a giant shit and it can't operate anymore. It's something in Act 3. I don't know what it's doing, if it's just the environment layouts, stuff that I can't turn off, turn down, because I have everything on lowest settings right now, right? 'Cause I'm pretty sure I did it the last time this shit was acting up. Yeah. Quarter res, eighth res. Even at a quarter resolution on textures, this on low, flashing effects is non-existent, and then I even turned this down to 60 hertz. So it's not like it's trying to go to a frame rate it's not supposed to, I mean, refresh rate that it's not supposed to be on, or like way too high or whatever. So like there's nothing else I can do on my end to fix that. It's 100% a game issue, it's 100% an Act 3 issue. I've realized that now. I thought it was always like my build, because my build would skyrocket to a point by the time I got with Act 3 that I thought it was just the build itself. And then next thing I know, because even sometimes in Act 2 it chugged. So they definitely fixed most of the frame problems. It just seems like there's something in Act 3 that just keeps causing them for some reason, and I don't know what it is. So it's also part of why I don't. Well, it's only when like it's Act 3 and I have to like take time to clear it. When I can burst through it real fast, you saw the first clear, it wasn't all that bad. It was kind of chopping a little bit, but it wasn't all that bad. And then once I get to like a certain point, like just everything goes to hell. It could just be the damage numbers, like the way it calculates damage and all the damage outputs. Maybe the projectiles are lasting too long when I got the projectile duration and stuff like that. There's something in there fucking with everything. I just can't pinpoint exactly what it is because I don't test all that stuff. But that's just the other thing that needs to be fixed, and that's about it. But yeah, hopefully they work on some of this stuff over time. I don't feel like a major like uh end game update, because I feel like Ascension was fine. I just feel like it should have just carried over. Um, like you restart everything, but then like it has like your Ascension stash for your items, and then your campaign stuff. And your campaign's locked so long as you're doing the Ascension progression. And then once you're done with the Ascension, it resets back to the normal campaign after completing it. And then you just set everything up, do your constellation, go into the next Ascension, and then basically your stash gets locked. All your gear. Oh yeah, then they would have to put the gear somewhere too. Never mind, never mind. Yeah, so the two save was a better option. Never mind. Uh, Yeah, that's it. I got nothing else to talk about when it comes to this. Sorry for dragging it out for so long. I was just trying to make sure like I got everything I wanted to address off my chest, because like this is basically, I don't even know what to equate Oblivion to, because like 8 billion was the most I did on Hell, and then I did 80 billion with this one, so I'm guessing it's around like Hell 50 or some shit. I don't fucking know. But yeah, take care, everybody. Peace.